Tag TV and Tag Radio. Be seen and heard by both technology users and technology producers throughout the state of Georgia and around the world. Low cost, big benefits, powerhouse online branded video and audio has arrived. Tag TV, Tag Radio, there's a lot more to know. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Will you be one? Be one of the next group of elite state technology industry innovative companies? As TAG once again prepares for the premier technology event of the year, the 2012 Georgia Technology Summit and Showcase. The showcase this year's Georgia Top 40 Innovative Companies. That's right. Imagine your company's most innovative idea or concept transformed into action, live action, at the state's biggest, most prestigious event of the year. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, January 16, 2012, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. I'm your guest host, Frank Baia. The Tech Talk makes a call to action to all our members, member companies, and technology community leaders. Georgia's Top 40 Innovative Technology Companies recognition, the highly coveted recognition of the Top 10 in all of Georgia, the 2012 Georgia Technology Summit. TAG Top 40 applications are now being accepted, but you must act now. Up to the call to action. In today's edition of Tech Talk, founder of this prestigious Innovative Award recognition and the selection committee chair since its inception at the 2005 First Technology Statewide Summit, Dennis Zakas, leading technology and merger acquisition attorney and partner at Zakas Leonard Law Firm. Hear the recognition's rich history, learn insights into the application and selection process, and more. The top 40 most innovative companies in Georgia, and TAG Top 10 recognition, including an invitation to present live at this year's summit in front of 1,000-plus attendees. Members, member companies, or community leaders, the call to action is on. And so is the Top 40 Selection Committee Chair, partner, attorney at Zakas Leonard, Dennis Zakas. Dennis, welcome to Tech Talk.
Thanks, Frank.
Well, once again, the time just seems to go faster and faster every year. It's time for the Georgia Technology Summit coming up in March. One of the mainstays, one of the, I think, probably the greatest and strongest pillars of the event is the top 40 most innovative or innovative. What's the correct theme now? Is it most innovative or innovative? Innovative, okay.
Top 40 innovative companies.
And then actually the top 40 and then the actual presentation of the top 10 and the recognition of the top 10 during the live Georgia Technology Summit, which obviously is a great, great opportunity for exposure and a lot of opportunity to meet and greet and that kind of thing as far as presenting the best of the best. This year's theme, innovation, the path to a bright future. You know that you're on the planning committee. We've done a lot of talking about looking in the past. This started in 2005, stretches all the way out to now 2012. People like Ted Turner and Ray Kurzweil and the editor-in-chief Chris Anderson of Wired magazine. It is, well, Thomas Friedman, you'd have to mention him as well. It's quite a prestigious event. Kind of talk to our listeners about how that kind of environment magnifies, if not complements, the whole top 40 selection process and the presentations by the actual top 10.
Well, from the beginning of the Georgia Technology Summit back in 2005, I guess it was, we decided to focus our attention every year on the topic of innovation. And there are different flavors of innovation, different flavors of the events over the years, depending on the economic circumstances and what was going on in the state and in the technology community. This year's focus is absolutely consistent and indeed a logical extension of the previous year's events. So we're always focused on innovation in our events, and the top 10, top 40 competition focuses on innovation as well, so it fits in perfectly. agree with you that it's one of the most, if not the most important aspects of the annual summit. This year's I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to comment on and kind of reinforce your point as you go through the chronicling of the different years. And I did mention innovation, the path to a bright future, again, bringing up innovation. We often say in our DNA, but the series has been innovation in entrepreneurship, innovation on the edge, innovation 2.0, innovation in transformation, even the energy of information, and then eventually the economic transformation impacted by innovation. And then last year was innovation next generation. So tell us a little bit about now with the path coming to almost a legacy, bringing us to 2012. Now this year, innovation, the path to a bright future, how, again, you're saying that kind of impacts the top 40 environment and selection process this year.
Sure. Well, you probably could say in any one of the years that innovation is a path to a bright future. And indeed, even as the economy has had some rough patches and continues to be challenging, the answer has been and continues to be innovation. Who knows what it would have been without the innovation that is in Georgia's DNA. And we stand at a crossroads looking forward. How do we continue pulling ourselves out of the economic problems that the state has had, that Atlanta has had, and innovation is absolutely the key going forward, as it has been in the past.
Yep.
So within that context, we're looking at the Georgia technology community and all of the great innovation that comes out of the community, whether it be early stage or startup companies or more mature companies that are in growth mode, or even innovation drives forward some of the Fortune 500 companies in the state. So innovation is the path to the bright future. Because our state is characterized by innovation, what we've seen in each one of the top 40 and top 10 competitions has been a number of excellent companies, some which previously had maybe been under the radar screen, at least from the public view, but here they were innovating, and we give them an opportunity to step forward, tell the community what they're up to. And the great thing about it is it's not only informative for the technology community of the state, but also of people that come to this event, since we often have over 1,000 people at the event. It's informative for them, but it's also inspirational and shows other people who might be thinking about starting a company or spinning off a company or pushing their large company in a different direction. It shows them that innovation is indeed the path to a bright future.
So in many ways, you know, it's almost like local heroes. I mean, a lot of those, as you say, aren't really brought to the forefront in a lot of cases because they're busy doing what they do. In other cases, they do get some publicity, but not anywhere near as much. But the real reinforcement is that we're talking about it being in our DNA. We're demonstrating it about being in our DNA, and it's actually an extremely positive as well as informative almost celebration, if you will. Talk a little bit about the process now. Right now, you've already announced for nominations. The flow has already begun. Committees are already meeting. Judging, I don't think, has begun. But give our listeners a little background on the process and where you're at right now.
Well, where we are right now is we're receiving applications for the program for the competition. We've already gotten a number of excellent applications. We have started the judging process. We've made preliminary decisions on a number of companies, and what I can tell you is that so far the quality of the companies just shows that it continues to rise every year. We get more and more excellent companies, which is really encouraging if you take a step back and look at the state from a macro point of view and say, well, what does it mean when we have this many great companies? And the answer is that there's really a lot of hope going forward and that everything is pointing in the right direction.
Right.
So we're there in the not the earliest stages, but in still a relatively early stages. And I got to say candidly, a lot of entrepreneurs wait till the very last minute to send in applications because they've got other things to do, but they definitely want to be included. So as we get closer to the deadline for the event, for the applications, we will start getting more and more applications. So where we are right now compared to previous years is it's very clear to me that this is going to be a banner year for applications, and that the state of innovation in the state of Georgia is really strong.
Identify some of the specifics. Number one, there is a hard deadline, and we're heading towards that, although, as you mentioned, there's still ample enough time to get your submissions in. And then maybe go through some of the requirements: size, age. Do you have to be in business for a long period of time? Is it only small companies? Is it only large? Give us some kind of meat on the bones, if you will.
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't have the deadline in front of me, but it's in February, and it's coming up. So if anybody hears this broadcast and is thinking about applying, the sooner the better would be my advice. But the competition, there are a lot of different competitions now in the technology community. There's no doubt about that, and many of them recognize a lot of different things. This competition focuses on and recognizes innovation. That's consistent with the themes of the summits, but it's innovation. Now, what does that mean? It means companies that are selling a technology, licensing, selling, or whatever. We're not talking about companies that are technology-enabled, that use somebody else's technology to run their business. That's the Excalibur Awards. We're not talking about the pure economics of a company, but we are talking about the company's innovation and innovative technologies. And by that we mean the impact of not only how innovative are their technologies, but also what the impact on the state in terms of recognition from outside of the state and internationally, in terms of generating growth. Again, this is a path to a bright future, so we're very impressed by companies with innovative technologies that seem destined to change the landscape of our state's economy. So that's really the focus. Lots of different kinds of competitions that cover somewhat similar things, but in this case, it's on the quality of the company's innovations in selling their technology as their product or service.
And I know you're not going to probably touch upon this. You actually founded this idea and concept back in 2005, and when during the first technology summit, Ted Turner was the featured speaker at that point, and as part of the evolution of the process, again, you probably wouldn't say this, but the truth of the matter is it has become, if not the most important recognition, certainly one of the most desired and competed for recognitions. I would think of any awards or any complimentary type situation that recognizes, certainly in the technology industry. So hats off on the success. As you were talking, I'm sitting here in the studio with a laptop, so we were able to go right online, and the deadline is February the 8th. And so just to let everybody know, you've got some time, but you really need, in fact, actually, you might want to mention that how you apply. You actually can go online. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's you can get there very easily from the TAG website. It's a featured link, and the application process really doesn't take all that much time. We have spent a lot of time over the years making the process very easy, but also to take out the extraneous questions or whatever that may have been in some of the previous iterations to really drill down into the company's innovations and the effect of those innovations in the economy and on reputation and beyond. So it's very easy to do. You can find it. Just go to the TAG website. I probably should talk a little bit about the process. So once a company applies, our committee meets regularly, and we go through the applications that we've received. We pick the 40 most innovative companies, and again, those companies can, generally speaking, the companies demonstrate the sticking power of their innovations by the fact that they are successful companies from an economic perspective. At least they're starting to make their mark on the state. But over the years, we've been increasingly interested in reaching out into earlier stage companies, and we make sure we have a certain number of companies involved in the process that may be earlier than we had previously or typically required, but that are already demonstrating how innovative they are. We love the wow factor. We love technologies that are just really cool and that you can visualize how they could really transform the state's economy. So those applicants get their applications in, we review, we pick the top 40. Of the top 40, we'll pick between 15 and 20, which will become further eligible to be recognized as one of the top 10 innovative companies. The prize for being a top 10 company is the chance to speak to the summit directly in a 3-minute presentation that highlights the company's innovations. It's not a 3-minute pitch on why you should invest or why we're the greatest economic company in the world. It's 3 minutes on this is what our innovations are, this is what our technology is, and really the underlying subtext is this is why this is really cool and inspiring. So we go through a process after we get those applications, and then we narrow it down to the 15 or 20 that are going to be competing for the top 10 spots, and then we have the candidates come in and before the committee and give the 3-minute pitch. And we spend some time coaching and working through to make those presentations as high quality as possible. Over the years, we've been spending more and more time working with the companies, and one of the interesting byproducts is every year several of the companies confide in us and say, we didn't really fully understand exactly what it was we did that was innovative, and by going through this process for 3 minutes, working with very experienced VCs and members of the technology community and angel investors, we've honed our message, and we feel like our ability to communicate what it is we do and why we're an innovative company has really benefited from your process. So we finish that part. Of those companies, we pick the 10 most innovative companies, and those 10 companies present at the summit a couple of weeks after that process is completed.
Now, when you think of the opportunity, we were mentioning some of the names of the keynote speakers and how it's probably, without question, the premier technology event in the entire state of Georgia. And here you actually are getting in front of that audience during a prestigious group with another prestigious group of presenters. So I'm just thinking the marketing and even public relations possibilities can go an awful long way to help a company in establishing its brand and getting more buzz and recognition about its quote-unquote innovation. Now, you've mentioned a couple of times about the committee, and you've mentioned the level of quality. Talk a little bit about the judges themselves and some of the people that are on the committee.
Well, time would not allow me to go through every person, so I hope I don't slight anyone by not mentioning them specifically. But the committee starts with some of the luminaries who have been there pretty much from the beginning, like Sig Mosley, who is generally recognized as the dean of angel investors. At one recent event, it was funny, every company that presented had some connection to Sig. And so his role in the committee can't be matched by anyone. So Sig is a key part of the committee, but there are a lot of people in the committee, people like Stephen Fleming from Georgia Tech, who has done a lot of the commercialization of technologies that have come out of Georgia Tech and is really a strong advocate for some of the earlier stage companies that are coming out of Georgia Tech and coming out of ATDC. Then we've had a number of venture capitalists. We've got Spence McClellan from Nora Mosley. We've got Linnea Geis from our Capita. That would be a couple of examples. We've had Knox Massey from the angel community. Knox has been on the committee for many, many years. And the list just goes on and on. We've had in the past Hall of Famer Don House, who recently retired. We've got war horses like Ron Dolinsky, who, along with me, was instrumental in forming this competition many, many years ago. So it's really quite a group of impressive characters.
You'd almost argue the point that it would be hard to get face time in front of any one of those individuals, and having the opportunity to meet and to have them give you a form of collaboration and mentoring, almost a prize within itself. Well, obviously we're running quickly out of time. Some of the better discussions and interviews seem to go so fast, but we need to point out a couple of things. Once again, tagonline.org is where to go as far as the registration is concerned. Got until early February, although sooner rather than later, I'm guessing would be the better way to go. We're talking top 40, but also more importantly, or equally as important, we're talking about top 10 being recognized at the upcoming summit in March, the Georgia Technology Summit. I guess, Dennis, is there anything else that I'm overlooking or that we haven't discussed that you'd like to bring up?
No, I don't think so. I think this year seems to be shaping up to be an incredible event and certainly an incredible, as always, top 40 competition. The only thing I would mention is that for folks hearing this broadcast, it's not just if you personally have your own company that you want to apply. It's please, everyone, help us unearth the great innovative companies in the state. So if you know of someone who's, in Savannah or in some other city in the state, if you know of a company that you've run into from doing business with them or considered investing in them, make sure that they apply, or you get in touch with the committee and alert us. It's very easy to do it, again, through the same site. Alert us to the company, and we'll track them down. We just want to make sure that no one is inadvertently missed in our efforts to find the 40 most innovative companies in the state.
40 most innovative, Georgia Technology Summit, the path to innovation, the path to a bright future. Dennis, thank you so much for taking, number one, for all the work that you do for TAG, the great work you do for the top 40 process. I know how much time and effort and energy it goes into creating this really premier event. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here on Tech Talk.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks for all you do as well.